They're gonna start the program like at 7:30ish, and then we're probably gonna get on around 8:30. Yeah, maybe like 8:15, something like that, and we'll have about an hour. I said 50. Oh shoot, interesting. Let me talk to you. Estamos en nosotros, las palabras, no me son gracias a todos los años. Presencial. Todos los igual.
Hey. Stars aligned. That's exactly. You saw the Zoser here? He says. Yeah, I just met them. Yeah. Ah, okay. All right. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Hello. Bienvenidos. People can get some food, get something to drink. Por favor, sírvense. Tenemos comida y refrescos. All right. And come on in. All right. Let's start. Okay. Good evening. We're going to start. It's very hard to compete with food, especially delicious food. But if you can come on in, we'll keep our remarks short so we can get to the party. All right. Welcome. Bienvenidos. I am Professor Ronnie Perellis. I have the great honor of being a professor of Jewish history at Yeshiva University. And in addition, I am the director of the Rabbi Arthur Schneier Program for International Affairs. And this evening is a partnership between the Diasporas Project at the Schneier Program and the Philos Latino Project. And I can't tell you what a wonderful thing it is to work with real partners. I want to welcome everyone here. Before that, I want to say thank you to several people and organizations, and then we'll introduce our special guest tonight, followed by our special musical program. So just to give you a sense. I want to thank the American Sephardi Federation, the president, Jason Guberman, who many years ago started hosting the Nosotros Art Collective at the Center for Jewish History as part of the ASF, and who so graciously came up here tonight and is part of the retrospective. So thank you, ASF. I want to thank para el Radio Visión Cristiana Internacional por su apoyo. Muchas gracias. I want to thank Dean Karen Bacon and Yeshiva College. I want to thank Care Cafe at the Wurzweiler School of Social Work, who are tabling in the back. Thank you, Kimberly Moore, and your amazing team. I want to thank the Bernard Revel Graduate School. Thank you, Dean Reinhold, for bringing the highest level of academic Jewish scholarship to a global audience. The Jay and Jeannie Schottenstein Honors Program, the YU Libraries. I believe I saw Professor Glassman here. Stern College Judaic Studies, and our student partners, the International Club, the Music Club, UPAC. I want to thank in particular Jacqueline Englenoff and Emily Zirin for their amazing outreach to our students. I want to thank our students. Our students are so busy. Our students have their days filled from early morning to night, packed with amazing activities, whether it's tefillah and study of Talmud in the highest level, whether it's studying science and the universe and math and poetry, and Jewish history as well. So I want to shout out to my students that I see that came here. You made time to come here. I want to thank the Provost's office. Selma Botman has been a staunch supporter of this project from the beginning. Thank you to Kenny Almansar for her gracious attention to all the details. I want to thank my partner in this endeavor from the YU side, John Greenfield, the Director of Government Relations, for connecting so many of the essential elements that made this night possible. Special thanks to Sam Chazen and the marvelous cooks of our food services. Gracias mil a Johnny y todo su equipo. Mil gracias por toda la comida riquísima. It's not every day that you get kosher platanitos north of Miami. So it's an amazing thing. Thank you to all of you. All of you who came here. We have people coming, our Philos friends, our YU community. You all have very busy lives, and you all made time to come together, to join together, to come to this space. And hopefully, the hope, and I see it happening right in front of my eyes, is that through art, through music, through things that bond us, we can see each other. We can see each other in a new light. We can learn something new from each other, grow with each other, build bonds. Washington Heights is the home of so many communities, but it's specifically and specially cherished by the Jewish community who came here over 100 years ago, and by the waves of Latino immigrants, in particular, Quisqueya, the Dominicans who are here tonight. When you get off the bus at George Washington Bridge Station, and you walk across, you see all the layers. You see the Little Russian store because of the layers of Russian immigrants that came. You see the German Jews who were here from the 20s. You see all the layers, and then as you walk, you see people with cutting mangoes, and you hear the music, and you hear all the interactions, and then you come to YU, a place that's like no other, a place for people from all over the world. We have students from all over the world who come here for this special place that this is, a place to learn Torah at the highest level, and a place to be part of the world at the highest level. And so thank you for coming together. It's really, really an honor, and I want us to hear from everyone else who's here, who's made time to come here, and we have a wonderful, fantastic lineup. But first, I want to introduce someone who understands the power of a place like YU to ennoble, to build people up, to give people what they need to enter the world. And that is our president, Rabbi Dr. Ari Berman. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ronnie. Such a privilege. Such a privilege to participate tonight in Nosotros. That's my shot. Art exhibition, and to be here with all of our friends in our broader community, our friends in Yeshiva University, our dear friends in Philos. It's very special to me to welcome someone who is an incredible incredible leader of our community and a dear friend of Yeshiva University. That's our Congressman Adriano Espiatu, who's here. Thank you so much. I want to thank our Assemblyman Manny De Los Santos, who's here. It's wonderful to be here with you, Manny. Our Manhattan Borough President, Mark Levine, who's here. Thank you so much, Mark. All of the Philos representatives who are here, who are going to be speaking and presenting. Just a blessing to be here with you. It's just so special to be a part of this whole event. It's deeply moving for me to see Latino artists engaging in Jewish themes, as you see on the walls on the great art on the walls. My wife grew up in a Latino home. My in-laws are from Cuba, where they fled the horrors of the Holocaust. And there they were raised, and there they enjoyed and were enriched by the Cuban culture. And what I've learned is that a diasporic life, a life when one grows up with at least two identities, is something for which our communities are deeply familiar. You know, Ernest Hemingway once said that you can't get away from yourself by moving from one place to another, that you carry your identities with you. And what we've learned is that a diasporic life is a life that contains multitudes. It's a layered life with different coats of identity on the surface and beneath the surface that enrich our own lives and enrich the tapestry of our great country, the United States of America. And it's minority communities who are at their core artistic communities. We understand the power of storytelling, of rich imagery told upon a campus with multiple layers, and a vitality that emerges from diversity. And that's one of the reasons that I love the fact that Yeshiva University is so central and a part of the Washington Heights community. We share values, families that share stories of a different past, multivalent identities that we carry together, and an ever-longing, ever-seeking artistic soul that seeks to find meaning and beauty wherever we journey. And it's those shared values we come together that transform each of our communities and ultimately uplift and inspire the American landscape. Tonight is a celebration of America. It's a celebration of our Washington Heights community. It's a celebration of Yeshiva University. It's a celebration that brings the Latino community and the Jewish community together and our shared values and shared sense of identity. And we celebrate with you with this great art, with the music that inspires our souls and that gives us meaning in our hearts. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful evening. Thank you.
Our next speaker, Luke Moon, the Deputy Director of Philos Project. It's really an honor to have you here at YU, and thank you so much for coming and helping make this.
Wow, this is a great crowd. Thank you all very much for coming out. I've been told by Jesse that this is our fifth, maybe sixth Nosotros. We're still trying to figure that out because we had some digital years and stuff. But here we are up here in Washington Heights, where Jesse grew up. And from the beginning, Philos valued and saw the role of the Hispanic community in the conversation about building friendships. Philos means friend in Greek. Friendships between Christians and Jews, Jews and Latinos, all kinds of people across spectrums. And one of the things I've noticed over the years, we do take a lot of groups to Israel, and we've taken groups of artists. And we find that artists can get past some of the sticking points where the theologians get stuck or the politicians get stuck. The artists come through and they get between the grooves and they can break things down in ways that others can't. So we feel like this expression of art and music, painting, really brings out an opportunity for collaboration and a way forward. I mean, nosotros means I'm told us. So I figured let's do us together tonight. So thank you very much for coming.
Our next guest needs no introduction. Representative Adriano Espaillat is a stalwart of our community, and tonight we're so honored to have you here. So thank you. Please come up.
Thank you so much, President Bergman. Thank you for inviting me. And thank you all for coming to this special gathering at this very special place at Yeshiva University. And I call Washington Heights the mothership, because somehow anywhere you go, you meet someone that has a connection to Washington Heights. And it's not just by coincidence that we have the George Washington Bridge there with I-95 that connects the United States all the way down to Florida. So this is a special place. And I just met two students, one from Spain and one from Iran that President Bergman introduced me to. So this is an international institution that brings students from all over the world, not just from the United States. And they walk the streets here and they mingle with families that live here. And I think it's a very special place. I dare to say that Washington Heights is the last neighborhood that has a personality, a pulse, Mr. President. It gets up upset sometimes in the morning, but sometimes it gets up dancing. It has its own character and personality. And many places have lost that, but we have not lost that because of places like Yeshiva University. And the kinship that exists between the Latino community, the Dominican community in particular, and the Jewish community is very strong. I want to say to you that I am very proud and very grateful that during the tough days here in Washington Heights, when the name was synonymous with crack and drugs and murder, this institution did not flee. And the Jewish community remained and worked with us, those of us that remained, to make this a stronger neighborhood. We still have challenges, but we will overcome them together. And you see the images here. The land, of course, that's the great Celia Cruz, who anytime she was asked a question, she would say, "My English is not very good looking." and of course, Johnny Pacheco from my hometown of Santiago. But also images from Sosua, where Jewish families got there right after the Holocaust. And I was privileged to be with the Attorney General of New York State to bring to the Holocaust Museum the exhibit over 15 years ago, Sosua Island Paradise. We brought back the artifacts and data and information about that journey that brought us together. So I thank you. Hopefully this room next year will be a much better place and a more beautiful place, because I brought with me $1 million for the university to redo this room. So I want to give President Bergman a big fat check. Thank you, and you beat that, Borough President.
You know, the art that we have on the walls and the people that we have in the space have transformed this room into a really beautiful space. But $1 million is going to go very far. So thank you. Really, thank you. Our next guest is Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine. It's a pleasure to have him here tonight. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Paredes. I'm sorry to tell you that you're slightly incorrect. The best kosher plátanos in the world are in Washington Heights. They really are. President Berman, I'm not sure, do you all take American Express? Because otherwise I can't compete with the Congress member. Okay, great, I'll see you after. Me metí en problemas. Esto lo vamos a hacer bilingüe. No, trilingüe, ¿qué les parece? קודם כל בעברית. תודה על ההזדמנות לומר מספר מילים באירוע חשוב זה. בואו נעשה סקר. מי מדבר, או מי לפחות, מי מבין עברית? Not bad, President Berman, not bad. Estamos haciendo una encuesta. ¿Cuántos de ustedes entienden o entienden español? Y muchos de los alumnos de Yeshiva, impresionante. ¿Cuántos levantaron las dos manos? Okay. Does anyone here speak English at all? All right, we're going to do a little bit of English too for the rest of you. On a serious note, I'm happy to be at this event because we have an absolutely urgent need to build ties between the Latino and Jewish communities of this city and country. We need to break down the walls between these communities to build relationships and friendships and partnerships between these two communities at a time when there is intense xenophobia, intense anti-Semitism in this country. And we need to be partnering to fight these challenges together. Are you guys up for fighting together against this hatred? The best place to do that is Washington Heights. This is the place to make that happen, where we have such a rich history, a rich Jewish history going back generations, a rich Latino history going back generations. This is the place to build that partnership, and I am so grateful to all of you, to Yeshiva University, for helping to lead in that effort. And I am so grateful to the Latino leaders who are here today. We are very lucky in Washington Heights. We have Latino leadership, including Congressman Adriano Espaillat, Assemblymember Manny de los Santos, who have stood by and stood up for the Jewish community consistently. Let's give them a big round of applause. So I am very optimistic with leaders like this in this room, with activists like this in this room, that we can come together and support each other and do great things for Washington Heights, for New York City, for the Jewish community, for the Latino community together. Thank you so much. Toda raba. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you.
Our next guest is State Senator Robert Jackson.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm so happy to be here, and I was running from Riverdale at a police precinct council meeting because I've said my top priority is the safety and security of the people that I represent. That's the most important thing. But I'm so happy to be surrounded by this beautiful artwork, understanding that together in unity with diversity of the people of our world makes us a better place. And so we have to understand that there is so much diversity, not only within the Latino community, but the Jewish community, but the Black community, that some people, for example, want to be called, I am just a human being. I'm a brother, I'm your sister. We're all one. And that's why I represent this area from 26th Street and 9th Avenue all the way up to Marble Hill, and soon to be 1/3 of the Bronx. But the most important thing that I say to everyone, we are all brothers and sisters, and that's why on my driver's license, I have a little red heart. And you know what that means? If I'm brain dead, please take my parts of my body to help my other brothers and sisters live. So in unity, there is strength. And today is the unity of the Latino and the Jewish community coming together and doing this art that's beautiful all over the place. And I'm happy to be here to join with you tonight. Thank you, everyone.
As we move on, I have the distinct honor of welcoming Assembly Member Manny de los Santos. Please come up.
Good evening. Oh, wow, I'm so honored to be here this evening. It should always be about us, our ability to work together. One community, one city, one state. I went to school right across the street, IS 143. And someone would have told me, I won't say the years, but over 2 decades, that I would be standing here in such a diverse crowd with shared value, I probably would have told you that's not happening. So to be here today, you know, is quite an honor. But I also want to acknowledge the Philos Project for bringing us together today, Yeshiva University, which, by the way, a lot of my classmates that I went to school with, attended IS 143, they work at Yeshiva University today. So when we talked about diversity, when we talked about embracing who we are, embracing who can we produce in our community, our young people, Yeshiva University has been doing that for many years. And I can say that because I know all those folks. I talk to them often. I see them in the street, whether they're going in, whether they're checking out. I know that. But Washington Heights has a long history of being an immigrant community. Whether you are from Irish, Jewish, Dominican Republic, wherever you are, you're welcome this community. We have always continue to work together to embrace who we are, to embrace our community, and to know that what we do here matters. What we do here matters. And I know there's a lot of folks now in the room, young folks, that are being inspired by the beautiful art. And that's what Yeshiva University does. So thank you so much for your hard work. And because of your hard work through all the years to embrace diversity, to embrace who we are in this community, I also want to make a special presentation. I have a proclamation here with me.
Our next guest tonight is Josh Kramer, New York Director of the American Jewish Committee. Josh, hey, welcome. Hey, Josh, welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Impossible to follow the very distinguished speakers who have taken this stage so far tonight. My name is Josh Kramer. I am the New York Director of American Jewish Committee, AJC. Thank you, Jesse Rojo, for this invitation to participate. Thank you, Jesse. It is one of the many ways in which AJC advocates on behalf of the Jewish community's priorities to build bridges between communities, and that includes a local New York Latino Jewish coalition on which Jesse sits. But it's events like this that really give us hope for the future of Latino Jewish coalition, of Latino Jewish relations. which have come a long way. We, President Berman mentioned it, share a diasporic nature in our identities, and that aspect of our identities really brings us together. But where there are so many ways in which our communities can come together, and this art is just so inspiring. So thank you again for including me. The ongoing development of ties between the Latino and Jewish communities took a new turn in 2011 when AJC supported the creation of the Latino Jewish Congressional Caucus, which was announced at AJC's Global Forum in 2011. Today, that caucus remains a strong reminder of the importance of strategic coalition building and bilateral conversations. And I'm shocked he didn't mention it, but we sincerely thank Latino Jewish Congressional Caucus co-chair and our friend Congressman Espaillat for his unwavering support for the mission of that caucus. So thank you, Congressman. Through both AJC's New York Local Latino Jewish Coalition and the AJC Institute, the Belfer Institute for Latino and Latin American Affairs, BILA, we will continue to work untiringly to denounce anti-Semitism and anti-Latino hate and build new and improved existing relationships between our communities. Thank you again for having me tonight, and enjoy your evening.
I want to also acknowledge the presence here of Pesach Osina, the community liaison for the City Council Speaker, Adrian Adams. The City Council Speaker could not make it, but I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you, Mr. Osina. It's really a pleasure. It means a lot. Our next guest is the president of Radio Visión Cristiana Internacional, the Reverend Jose Martinez. Okay. Well, he was here. We really thanked him. He gave a great shout out for this event on the radio, so we really appreciate it. Okay. Our next guest is Jason Guberin, the president of the American Sephardi Federation. So please come up. Special connection to this event.
President Berman, Professor Perales, our distinguished dignitaries, mi hermano Jesse and Juan Rodriguez, Luke. It's a great honor to be here. And to think that 6 years ago when we started this initiative, and it was at the worst of times. I mean, Jesse came to me when he was canceled days before the event. He's like, it's over. What are we going to do? You know, can we find a space at the Center for Jewish History? And how much would it cost? And remember what I said to you. I said, how can I charge my brothers and sisters? This is your home. You come and you be part of us. And every year since, we've had this exhibit, except for a couple years with COVID when it was online. I was moved to see the proclamation that was issued in honor of Yeshiva University tonight, and I hope all of you get a chance to read it at some point, because it harkens back to a history that's worth remembering. On 19 January 1960, Mayor Robert Wagner issued a proclamation inaugurating a year of artistic and cultural and historical events about Hispanic culture. What did he call this year? Our students at Yeshiva University will know this. Unfortunately, a lot of American Jews won't. But he named it the Solomon Ibn Gabriel year. Who was Solomon Ibn Gabriel? What is his connection to Hispanic history? Well, he was an Andalusian Sephardic sage, a poet and philosopher. And in the proclamation, Mayor Wagner said that what's so important is to remember the integration of the Jewish past into the Hispanic present. Can you imagine this? 1960, and 900th anniversary of Solomon Ibn Gabriel. So what does that mean exactly? The integration of the Jewish past into the Hispanic present. Millions of Latinos have Jewish ancestors. whether they know it or they don't know it, but the impact is profound and it's felt strongly. Even for those who don't have a direct family connection, they grew up hearing stories in Belize, in Colombia, in Cuba, all over Latin America, in Mexico. In New Mexico, one of the most Jewish districts in the country, ethnically, is a district that has many crypto Jews, conversos. So this history is so important. And also to remember, why is that? That was because of the Inquisition. The Inquisition, which sought to erase Jews, and it failed. It sought to erase us, but we endured, and the connections between our communities remain to be profound. We have a picture of Theodore Herzl here. There are two other paintings left over from a prior Nosotros at the Center for Jewish History right now in our Lee and Levy gallery, having paintings celebrating the other national liberators, Jose Marti and Simon Bolivar and David Ben-Gurion, all of which we have in common. So what we're doing here tonight is we're continuing this legacy. We're bringing back together the sacred cords of memory that the Inquisition sought to rent asunder. Jesse and Philos, you'll see some members of Philos have the Yo Soy Parti shirt. When they heard, Hispanic Christians heard that Sephardic Jews were having issues with getting their citizenship, they organized a protest. How often does that happen? And show their solidarity and love and affection for the Jewish community. So what we're doing tonight is we're strengthening souls and we're fortifying minds. Nosotros, Bayachad, together. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. The ASF is a great friend of Yeshiva University, and we continue to do great programs together. And we're really at the end. We have our last two special guests to come up. I want to say, partnering with Philos has been a very special experience for me. I've met some very special people. Don Juan Rodriguez is a man of tremendous humility, but clear insight and wisdom. And you sense it from talking to him just a few lines. And the best part of this is that he mostly speaks Spanish, so he doesn't even know what I'm phrasing him in front of him. So that's the best. But ha sido un placer y un honor poder conocerte y tener esta oportunidad de continuar esta relación. So, por favor, si puede venir aquí, Don Juan Rodriguez, the visionary behind the Nosotros Art Collective. And my partner here, Jesse Rojo.
I'll interpret.
Okay.
Estaba en una ocasión en un hospital y un amigo me regresaba al apartamento. Y cuando íbamos de camino, él me decía, mira, eso es de los judíos, eso es de los judíos y eso es de los judíos.
Empieza, ¿cómo fue?
Que estaba en un hospital.
Oh, I was in a hospital.
Y un amigo me regresaba a mi apartamento.
And I had a friend who would take me back home from the hospital.
Y cuando íbamos de camino, él me decía, eso es de los judíos. Y no pasaba mucho tiempo y volvía y me decía, eso es de los judíos.
So as on our ride home, he kept pointing out to things and say, that belongs to the Jews, that belongs to the Jews.
Y yo llegué a mi casa y me quedé pensando y dije, oh Dios, ¿qué sería de nosotros sin los judíos?
And I sat down at home and I started lamenting, oh God, where would we be without the Jews?
Y se me ocurrió, tenía que durar mucho tiempo en el hospital y pensé que me iba a traumatizar en ese ambiente de un hospital y dije, déjame ver qué puedo hacer para no volverme loco, y se me ocurrió la idea de hacer una investigación para ver cuál era la actitud de los hispanos ante los judíos.
with Jewish organizations and Jewish individuals. So I realized how much already my family is involved with the Jewish community.
Doy gracias y honro la memoria de todos los judíos que han estado en Estados Unidos y en toda América Latina.
So I give thanks and I give a blessing to the memory of the Jewish people all over the United States and Latin America.
Porque el estudio reflejó que no sé qué sería de muchos sin los judíos.
Because the study demonstrated that we were so linked to the Jewish community. Our faith is so linked to the Jewish community that I realized we were much closer than we really realized.
Compartí la idea con mi amigo Jesse Rojo y con Jason.
So I shared this idea with my friend Jesse Rojo and Jason Guberman.
La llevó a Philo Project y Philo Project, no sé cómo, pero determinó que sí la iba a aprobar.
And I don't know how, but the Philos Project, when I presented it to the Philos Project, they decided to support the exhibit.
Como organizador quisiera darle las gracias a Philo Project por la oportunidad de organizar este evento por 6 años.
As the organizer of this exhibit, I want to extend my thank you to the Philos Project for allowing us to do this for 6 years.
Pero no sería honesto si no dijera que gracias a Nilkenson, a Luke, y reconociera que sin el liderazgo de mi amigo aquí, Jesse Rojo, no hubiera sido posible.
And I cannot say or leave without mentioning my thanks to Robert Nicholson, Luke Moon, and to recognize that without the leadership of Jesse Rojo, this wouldn't be happening.
Gracias a Becky y a los demás que trabajan en Philo Project. Gracias, muy agradecido por la confianza que han depositado en mí. Espero no haberlo defraudado.
Thank you, Becky. Thank you for the rest of the Philos team for trusting in me. I hope that you're not disappointed.
Agradecer a la universidad que nos acoge hoy y espero que nos acoja por mucho tiempo.
And thank you to the university that has housed our exhibit, and I hope that it becomes the home of this exhibit for many years.
Al señor presidente, gracias, y a Ronnie, gracias.
And Mr. President of Yeshiva, thank you. President Berman and Ronnie, thank you.
Okay.
One more, okay. Gracias mil, don Juan. Y que esta noche empezamos, don Juan, empezamos a hablar del futuro también. Un puente para el futuro. That we believe that the success of a night like tonight is testament to the fact that there's room for growth here, that our students here at Yeshiva University and can go deeper into this world of art and music and culture, connecting our different communities, and we will, so wait for it, okay? You'll be seeing it. And I want to just introduce Jesse Rojo, who leads Philos-Latino. It's been his whole team. I want to echo Don Juan, Becky, Nicolas, Matthew. Really, you guys are really special people, and you can tell that you're doing things from the heart. So thank you, and thank you, Jesse. I just want to turn the mic over to you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ronnie, and thank you, everybody. It's hard to find the words to describe how excited I feel, how happy I feel. I'm still just a kid from the Heights that used to walk these streets every day, and I remember buying Italian ices in the bodega and listening to Irish bagpipes in the baseball park and looking at the Jewish community walking into Yeshiva University and always wondering, this is Yeshiva University, what an impressive place. It was so prominent in the Heights, and you cannot walk in the Heights and not see this university. And the same way as Assemblyman said earlier, I would have never imagined that years later, I'd be standing inside this place, hosting an art exhibit, connecting with so many wonderful people. I used to always say, like, I see my Jewish neighbors from across the other side of Broadway frequently, but this time I feel like we've crossed over, and now we're together on the same sidewalk, and we're building friendships. Yes. You know, this community is much more diverse than what most people think, you know, and I won't mention any names, but if you just allow yourself to be guided by a Broadway musical, you might think that it was just exclusively Dominican. But it was not. Washington Heights, as it was voiced, has been a home for many immigrants. And I've had the privilege as a son of Dominican immigrants to grow up and get to know so many of them and expose myself to the rich, diverse culture that exists in this place. Among them is the Jewish culture. I want to read you a quote that for me has been transformational in the way that it has helped me view the Jewish people and Jewish history. As you know, for thousands of years, there's a lot of bad ideas that has floated around about the Jewish people. And those are more popular, unfortunately, than the historical events that you see pictured in these artworks. And I was reading one day one of these historical books called Así Nació Israel, The Birth of Israel, by a Guatemalan diplomat who was the chief of the Guatemalan delegation in 1947. He was a member of UNSCOP. And for those who don't know what UNSCOP is, it was the special committee that investigated the conflict in Israel between Israelis and Arabs. And so this Guatemalan Latino diplomat was there, and he wrote the first historical account. And in this first historical account, in the beginning of his book, he writes his justification, his reason as to why he felt that the world needed to learn about the story of the birth of modern Israel. And this is the same justification that I have today as to why 6 years ago we decided to do this artwork. He said it this way. He said, "I'm convinced that lessons are to be found in the struggle of the Jews for all humanity. They have proven that, even against all odds, faith in a cause and the spirit of sacrifice for an ideal wins in the end. That is the lasting lesson for us all. Faith is more powerful than material force, and in the final battle, those who triumph are those who struggle for what they know is right and just." And the movement of Zionism, the birth of of the state of Israel, for him was a movement of liberty, of justice, and it was a cause that needed to be defended and needed to be exposed to the world because it was a story of inspiration. Just like you see the one in Sosua. You know, Sosua was a swamp when it was given to the Jewish people, a swamp. It was not the popular touristic city that you know today. And they started the first milk and meat industries in the country. All right? This is an inspirational story of how immigrants who had nothing, they never cultivated land in their whole life. They were doctors, they were lawyers. We interviewed descendants. They would tell us that their father would spend hours reading books on how to cultivate land and how to do agriculture. So they were committed, they were determined. And that same determination, that same commitment was the determination and commitment that I saw in my parents, that I saw in the Latino community. And that's why I know that, well, we're here together because we realize that we do share a struggle together. We share a culture together. We share a history together. And that's what Nosotros represents. With that being said, I also have one very big special reason why I'm very happy today. Is that not only is this the first time that Nosotros, after 6 years, is coming to the Heights, but today is also my mother's birthday. Where's my mom? There she is. She's sitting down with the hat, all shy, but please, if you see her, greet her happy birthday. I love her, mommy. And lastly, I just want to say my last thanks to you. Happy birthday, mommy. Happy birthday to you. You can't let that pass, I'm sorry. This is how Latinos do it. I'm sorry, you invite Latinos to the party, and we're taking over. All right, well, I just want to say my last thanks to all of you. Really, from the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful. And I really do hope that this becomes a tradition, that we continue to build bridges between Jewish kids and Latino kids and Jewish neighbors and Latino neighbors, and let's realize that we are here together. Nobody can struggle through life alone. We're not meant to be alone. And if there's anybody that understands that more, it's the Jewish people. And so let's come together, let's work hard, let's fight our challenges, and make our community better. Thank you.
When we began dreaming up this night and we thought of the idea of having music, I could think of no other group that would be as perfect as the Jazz Sephardic Project. Jazz Sephardic Project takes the rhythms of Latin jazz, which brings together the sounds of Africa, of New Orleans, of Havana, of New York, and blends them all together in a magical connection. But what Jazz Sephardic does is take that jazz and take it to another level and connect it and put in conversation with the Sephardic music that has its origins in the gardens of Al-Andalus in southern Spain in the medieval times, to the expulsion, the world of the diaspora that the Jews throughout the Mediterranean and the Middle East recreated their culture and created some of the most beautiful, heartbreaking music you'll ever hear. And so we reached out to Yehonatan Elazar de Mota, and it made perfect sense. So that's what we're going to have tonight. So we're here this isn't an Andalusian garden in Cordoba, but or any other magical place, but we're turning it into one tonight. So as you listen to the music and appreciate the art on the walls, take yourself somewhere, enjoy, and please come back to Yeshiva University. Thank you so much to everyone who's here. I want to bring up our musicians, Yonatan Elazar de Mota, saxophonist, Tal Cohen on the keys, and get ready to rock. So thank you very much.
That's how we sing Lecha Dodi in the Caribbean. Can we have a little bit more volume on the piano, please? Welcome to the Jazz Fardig experience. This music, the way we're doing it, is an idea that I came up with in 2008, and it details the history of my family for the last 500 years, from Sepharad, Al-Andalus, into North Africa, and the Caribbean, and then United States. Join the Jazz Fardig experience.
Looks like it's kind of spinning up.